Who is over that? Okay. Kevin.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, feel free to correct me, anyone who's, Melissa's been very involved, of course, but, so this year, House Bill 284 was passed that requires libraries, if they receive state funding, to have a background check policy, as well as those who don't pass a background check policy to have an opportunity to respond. And so we've drafted, and the library policy has to apply to volunteers and employees, okay? So, or the background check policy. So we've drafted one that applies for the library at this time only. That's all that this is doing for the background check policy. The personnel policy and procedure. And, let me back up. The reason why we're bringing this to you is because if they fail to pass the background policy, it involves possible termination or discipline of employees. So that's something that's typically approved by the council. And so that's also, the companion is the personnel policy and procedures update that incorporates background check policies as basically one of the things that we can discipline employees for. Okay, so that's what this is doing. You have it in the packet. I don't know if you've had a chance to review that, but we're happy to review any of that or go over any questions that you have about the background check policy. The P&P manual, there's one additional thing that's being done with this update, and that is, if you recall, about a month ago, we brought a P&P update, and it said that we were basically saying the city manager, once the decision to terminate someone, can delegate the actual execution of that to, that's the worst, that's a bad term to use, but implementation, that's a better word to use, but we realized that that didn't apply to demotions and suspensions, and it made sense that that's a delegable duty as well. As long as Mark approves the suspension or the demotion, staff can then implement that decision. So that's all that's being changed in 6 and 7.
Okay.
I just have a quick question. Does this not apply to our volunteer basketball coaches, soccer coaches? Because
Those,
Like even coaches?
like our coaches and our junior jazz, because like when you volunteer, a parent volunteers at a library.
Answer.
I can answer.
Recreation did pass a background check policy with city council back when Heston started with us. We took that as the starting point for this policy and modified it specifically for the library
Already
volunteers.
doing it.
So we're already doing it for our coaches and stuff.
Yes, we are.
yes, and this background, yes, just for the library, but they are going to need some amendments to theirs as well, which we'll be bringing back,
Okay.
council.
Okay. There's no further discussion. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move that we approve business items 6 and 7 as stated on the agenda, including any staff findings and
I have a first from Councilman Wilden,
Second.
second from Councilman Carn. Any further discussion? Carn?
Aye.
McComber?
Aye.
Wadman?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
Barton?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously on items 6 and 7. We have item 8, Saratoga Springs Downtown Plan. Doug?
Doug, you're up.
Hey, Doug?
I have a mission.
And this is a fun one. This might be interesting for.
Because of your delay, I'm already voting no.
You might want to stick around for this one, Chris.
This one's actually pretty cool. This is the downtown, the new downtown.
So you all know that we're a new enough city to where we just don't have a downtown, a formal downtown. We have been working for the past year, just give or take, to create one. And we have the rare opportunity of taking about 244 acres and creating a downtown. And the goal is to create some sort of an award-winning downtown to where, the whole community can be proud of it. So I have prepared a short presentation, but you have the full document. And I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it, all 109 pages of it. So when you get a chance, if you haven't already, take a look at that. It gives you the details and lets you go through the whole thing and tell you what we're aiming for. The caveat is this is kind of a conceptual plan because we don't know how retail or residential space or anything else might fit and work well together, but at least these are the items that we want to see in the plan so that it's successful. There are a few things that are included in a downtown area that make it successful, and we want to include those things, and this is our to accomplish that. So, next slide, please. Oh, hey, look. I got it. It's, okay, look at the time.
Now we're going to pick on you for the next
Thanks for
5
the
meetings.
break. The break completely undid everything, right? So
We gotta be
We
done
give
before.
Jeremy a hard time for being late a lot, so you're fine.
I'll make it quick so we don't, it's less painful.
Jeremy's here.
This is the fun stuff.
So there are 3 guiding principles that we want to follow. We want this to be the heart of the community, number one, where, people can go, for example, Instagrammable moments or places to gather or things that just kind of are worthy of our affection. The second item, or second thing, or guiding principle was we like to celebrate place here. We'd like to create a space that we can use and we can use as a whole community. And the third one is community convergence. So easy access in and out, walkable area so that,
Farmers markets.
yep, food court.
Art shows.
Yeah, you're getting ahead of me. I've got a slide that will talk about the details in there.
Okay, sorry.
So the next slide right here shows how the areas are conceptually broken up. The purple area in the middle is what's called the urban center, or the area where most of the activity for the community will take place. And then the periphery will be more usable space, like the blue is the office park, office space use, maybe some educational use, things like that. And the red is more commercial, whereas the orange is residential. But the purple is a neighborhood commercial where it's a little lighter density. The next slide is the urban core, a conceptual design or plan of what we have slated for the urban core. And you can see there that there are 4 areas. We did it this way so that, number one, it keeps the traffic out of the area, and it allows us to maybe close the road down for a parade or something like that, or an event.
Market, yeah.
Yeah, market. And all 4 of those corners have different uses that can be interchanged with different activities. So the next slide shows you maybe on a little closer scale of what those consist of. The left side will give you an elevation, a cross-section of what the street will look like going northwest and southeast, looking both directions to kind of give you an idea what the area might feel like. The slides on the top right include the areas. The left one is more of a plaza. It's where you can have temporary street fairs or something like that. And then the top right is a plaza that you could use for farmers markets or something like that. And then the bottom one, you can see that there are vehicles in there for like a food court or an art show or whatever else we might choose to do that with that area. And then the last one kind of addresses transportation. And this has all got to work. And we've left it kind of open in there that any developer that comes in and wants to develop the property going forward has to comply with, transportation. It has to work. And they're going to have to do an extensive study to make sure that it works and it works well for the city. So that gives it to you in a nutshell. If you have read it, do you have any questions I can answer for you at this point?
It's pretty awesome.
It's fun.
I know I haven't been here very long, so I haven't been involved in it, but this is great.
Mark, you had
A lot of
some.
work.
Yeah, I just was going to comment, and Doug, I think, didn't quite give kudos to the people that served on this committee. So a number of staff served on this. Michael was involved with that. Chris has been participating with this. The council members have kind of been involved, as well as some planning commissioners and other members in the community. We've worked very closely with the property owner. This is a single property owner, and so we've worked very closely with them. And although this action tonight is not binding on them, at some point we anticipate that they will be incorporating these concepts and things into potentially a future DAP amendment or something along those lines. And so our hope is that we're providing a structural framework, and this has been a long-term goal of trying to help identify and create that community core and that community vision of what our downtown should be looking like. And so, again, this is something that you've been asking for. It's been a long time in the making, and we feel that it largely addresses the concerns that has been a stated goal of the council for a number of years. And so thank you for your direction and your insight and your participation with these planning events.
Yeah, I mean, just a lot of thought went into it. I mean, even just the angle, if you go back where you have like the downtown urban core, I mean, it's angled on that for a reason because the elevation is higher in the top of the triangle and it gets lower. And so your building's higher on the back so that you have a view corridor. We even have pictures in here, if you went through it, that show here's where Timpanogos view is, here's the lake, I mean, this really is very, very well thought out. I want to thank everyone who participated. I also like the company that helped us facilitate it. I thought they did a great job.
Yeah.
Especially ringing a lot of opinions, a lot of people, and a lot of Post-it notes. But I just, Sarah and I teamed up on them once, pretty good, but they listened, and it really was such a collaborative effort, and appreciate, Doug, your efforts in helping us accomplish this. And then now your goal is to go and try and sell people on this. So we appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Yep.
I just feel like every little detail, like you guys, honestly, it had to have been hours and hours because every little detail is in there. And so the packet was awesome. Like it really showed elevation, like everything. And it's just, it's amazing.
This project is a very unique opportunity because it's very uncommon. You're going to have one landowner that has that much land who will sit down with the municipality and a third-party company to help us plan this. I think this gives, hopefully, Doug, you can take this to a national developer, drop it on their desk and say, just do this and we're good.
Yep.
Right? Now, I know they're going to come back with changes, and I don't want anyone to think that what you see here is what we get.
Yeah.
Because this is just a vision, right?
This is
What we see,
iteration.
what we get may be very different from what we see here, but hopefully this gives them guidance on what it is we want to see here.
Yep. This is iteration 1 out of 100.
Be townhomes.
Yeah.
And when I want to make one comment too is, as being a longtime resident of Saratoga Springs, I'm very excited about this. I think, and a lot of work has gone into it. I think the citizens here should celebrate it as well because, and we always drive through other towns that have a downtown area and can quickly identify that. Saratoga Springs, we're kind of unique in, the way we've started, but this will help us with our identity, I think, and give us a beautiful face to show other people. So.
And Doug, I think the first question that we'll get tomorrow after we approve this document is when do we see the stores here? Right? When do we see this go up?
Be here, yeah.
So I think it's a legitimate question. This project overall is many, many years of development, right? But is it fair to say that we have interested parties
Yep.
looking
It
at
is.
this piece of property today?
It is, and I've met with them several times, not one, but two, so.
So early phases, not the whole thing,
Yes.
but like a couple.
No,
Right,
you
like
know,
the urban center area, I think is a starting point.
based on past conversations, I expect to see at least some conceptual designs this year.
This year? Okay.
I love that.
So, Ann, will you be doing a city Facebook post to let people know we're planning a downtown area with this?
She's thrilled to do it, Mayor.
She just took an action.
I didn't say you had to. I was just curious if we'd have it piecemeal
Maybe a
through,
link to the plan or
And
something.
then,
Yeah.
or if we'd have an official, here it is.
and you'll work
I'll
with
have
her to
the-
make sure that it's concept, people understand.
Yeah, I want to set the plan on the website tomorrow.
And if the
this is
council's
approved.
okay with it, we'll have Chris share it on
But it's a
Saratoga
concept, it's guarantee.
Lehigh Link.
Lehigh Link.
We'll make sure we put that on the post and on the website.
Yeah.
Okay.
Concept,
Yeah.
concepts.
Are you kidding? People are already talking about restaurants and things.
They've already named 2 grocery stores that are going in here.
Oh, yeah, yeah, and Trader Joe's will be in there too,
Trader Joe's,
right?
exactly what that's what I keep hearing.
And you could start the post with just a picture of the dirt and say, what's being built here? And let people go off that for a while.
So I would just like to say one thing. Well done. So 2 things. Well done. The other thing is, I believe, I know former, he's still alive, but I'll call him former, Councilman Porter was a big advocate of this and really pushing it, and Pudeska as well. I don't know how you want to do it, either reach out to him or something like that, but when you put, they both, Pudeska was here 6 years, Porter, what, 8?
Which was a big
They
part of
put
it.
a lot of time, effort, energy into it, more than I did. I think it'd be good to acknowledge them.
On the
Great suggestion.
What?
Great
Oh,
suggestion.
thanks.
That's a good
One, I just wanted, and this is actually for the benefit of the new council members. If you remember, 3 or 4 years ago, I sent a memo to the council about discretion under the DAP and the planned community zone. And just remember, yes, this is not binding the downtown plan, but the council has legislative discretion under that DAP to determine the location of the different uses and the place types. And so you can take this and make certain requests as far as under the DAP. So
I was
hopefully
asking
you
Ann if she was going to
understand
do a
that.
city-controlled message versus
Well, and
getting it wrong.
the people
still
who
have-
owned the
you still-
DAP were in these meetings.
Yes.
They saw the vision. They know what we're driving towards. So,
And they know what we'll approve.
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully
Yeah, they've seen the
hopefully they-
final plan and.
Guidance,
and
yeah.
In terms of the uses, what we want to see.
Yeah.
Very
Okay,
good.
perfect. I will entertain the motion from Councilman
Michael,
Willoughby.
you worked on as much as
All right.
Conber.
I move that we approve the Saratoga Springs Downtown Plan Resolution R24-27 dated today.
I have a first from Councilman McComber,
Second.
a second from Councilman Carn. Any further discussion? Councilwoman Barton,
Aye.
McComber.
Aye.
Wilden.
Aye.
Carn.
Aye.
Wadman.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Mark said we had the option. We can dive into the work session on the sign code or postpone it to a shorter meeting.
Sarah, how long do you think the sign code would take tonight?
29 slides.
It just depends on if you're gonna have a lot of feedback. If we're either way, so I would say 20 minutes.
What?
But I don't know what your feedback's going to be.
My mind's a little bit fried, but
That's what I'm sensing. I'm just curious.
Is there any urgency behind it right now?
No, there's
Okay.
nothing super pressing. We're just coming back.
I will say that I like the examples of this, how big the signs can get and stuff. So I'm looking forward to having the conversation, but I'd rather.
Really good conversation. But I want it to be a conversation, so I agree with that. Like, I don't want us to not have the conversation because it's
We
like.
dove so far into Cliff Lake. I'm just
Yeah.
curious if we're fried.
Yeah, so I want to have an actual conversation about it, absolutely.
So you have the draft of the code changes, so continue to review those. If you have questions, reach out to staff, and then we'll bring this back at a future council meeting, preferably when we don't have such a long meeting.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. With that, I will adjourn the meeting.